When you picture someone running around like a headless chicken, it might sound a little funny until it doesn't. I remember as a child seeing a live chicken being prepared for a meal. So of course the chicken became headless. And what stayed with me wasn't just the violence of it, it was the movement afterward. It was the way the body kept going, frantic, purposeless, running on nothing but momentum and nerves. I didn't have the language for it then. I sure lost my appetite. But that image stayed with me. And now, years later, I realize I've lived out that same frantic energy more times than I'd like to admit. Racing through the morning, rushing out the door with one shoe untied, throwing my to-do list at the day like it's a battle plan, moving fast, but feeling behind, checking things off, but never feeling caught up, responding to everything, but truly present for nothing. Have you experienced this too? It's exhausting, and it's not harmless. The headless chicken lifestyle isn't funny. It's tragic, because you can be incredibly busy and completely lost at the same time. You can accomplish a dozen things and still feel like you've missed your own life. And this kind of living costs us something. It costs our bodies, the shallow breathing, the tight, tense, aching shoulders, the racing heart that never gets permission to slow down, the headaches that start at 10 a.m., the exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix because it's not that kind of tired. It's the soul kind. It costs us our bodies. It costs us our relationships. We're physically there, but mentally elsewhere. We hear our loved ones talking, but we're already 3 conversations ahead, planning, anticipating, bracing. We think we're being responsible. They feel us disappearing. It costs us our joy, because joy requires presence, and presence requires space, and space is the first thing we sacrifice when we're living reactively. We can't receive a beautiful moment if we're already running toward the next thing. And here's what we don't talk about enough. It costs us our sense of self. When you're constantly reacting, constantly scrambling, constantly in motion without intention, you lose touch with who you actually are beneath all the doing. You become the chaos, and then you don't know how to exist without it. And this is where anxiety lives, not in the big catastrophic moments all the time, but in the 1,000 small ways we abandon ourselves every single day. And here's what we don't want to talk about. The headless chicken doesn't run forever. Eventually it collapses. Eventually the body gives out. The frantic movement stops, not because it chose to, but because it had to. And we're not different. This pace, this panic, this constant state of emergency, it does have an expiration date. You can override your body's signals for only so long before your body overrides you. The burnout will come. Maybe it shows up as complete exhaustion that no amount of sleep can touch. Maybe it's the anxiety attack that comes out of nowhere, except it didn't come from nowhere. It came from months or years of running on fumes and calling it normal. The breakdown will come. Maybe it's the relationship that finally snaps under the weight of your absence. Maybe it's the health crisis that forces you to stop because your body won't let you continue. Maybe it's the moment you realize you can't remember the last time you felt like yourself. The bill will come. And by then we've already paid in ways we can't get back, in memories we were too distracted to make, in conversations we were too depleted to show up for, in the version of ourselves we could have been if we just stopped running. If we just stopped running. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to get truth into you. You cannot sustain the unsustainable. You cannot live at odds with your own humanity and expect to stay whole. The headless chicken life will take you out. If not all at once, then piece by piece until you don't recognize what's left, and you deserve better than waiting until you have no choice. So here's the invitation. Break up with that kind of life. Not because you need to be more productive, not because there's something wrong with you, but because you deserve to live like you have a center, like you have a head on your shoulders and a heart in your chest and a life that belongs to you. What if peace began before the day did? What if you did a simple thing like lay out your outfit the night before, not to save time, but to be gentle with yourself in the morning? What if you prepped a simple breakfast ahead of time, just to take one decision off your plate in the morning when you're most vulnerable, when you need your active energies going for other things? What if you woke up 10 minutes earlier, not to get ahead, but to not feel behind from the moment your eyes open? What if planning your day became an act of clarity instead of a scramble? What if you looked at your calendar and asked, what do I actually need today? What can wait? What doesn't belong here at all? This isn't about becoming rigid. It's not about perfection or color-coded schedules or never being spontaneous again. It's about putting small, loving systems in place that allow peace to lead instead of panic. That's the Sereniyu Way. You do what's necessary, and you do it with intention, especially at the beginning of the day, because how you start carries into everything else. When you prepare the night before, you're not just organizing your clothes. You're telling yourself, I'm worth preparing for. My peace matters. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to meet myself with kindness. When you plan your day with intention, you're not trying to control the universe. You're creating a container for your energy so it doesn't leak out in 1,000 directions. You're choosing your yeses and your nos before the world starts asking. When you wake up with margin instead of urgency, you're not being lazy. You're refusing to let reactivity set the tone for your entire day. These aren't productivity hacks, they're acts of self-respect. And yes, the plan will fall apart sometimes. The morning will go sideways, the unexpected will show up. That's life. But here's the difference. When you start from a place of groundedness, you can handle the chaos without becoming the chaos. You can bend instead of break. You can adjust instead of unraveling. Peace isn't about nothing ever going wrong. It's about not losing yourself when it does. And I need you to understand this. Peace doesn't happen by accident, but it can happen by choice. It's not something you find when life finally calms down. It's not waiting for you on the other side of your to-do list, or after you've proven yourself, or once everything is under control. Peace is what you practice now, in the midst of it all, on purpose. The headless chicken keeps moving because it doesn't know it's already gone. But you're still here. You're still whole. You still have a choice about how you meet each day. You can choose differently, not someday, today. You can lay out your clothes tonight. You can set your alarm 10 minutes earlier. You can look at tomorrow and decide what actually needs you and what's just noise. Whatever applies to you, you can stop running and start living. Because Sereniyu, the serene you, the peaceful one, that's not who you're trying to become. That's who you already are underneath all the motion. You're just remembering. You're just coming home. And it starts with one intentional morning, one intentional moment, then another, until peace isn't something you're chasing. It's the ground you're standing on. With calm and care, Sereniyu.